Hi, Linda. How are you?
Hi, I am great. Glad to be
Um,
here.
Thank you so much for saying yes to the interview today. My name is Nicolette. I am the creator for the podcast titled You're Worthless. Read that again. The juxtaposition of your very soul. Now, I would love to read a bit of introduction first before we start our conversation, and then we can get right into it. So, hello everyone. We have Linda Lee Hebert here with us today. A passionate advocate for foundational life giving health, is driven by a profound personal experience that has shaped her life's mission. With a Bachelor of Science in Nursing from Ohio State University and extensive experience as a registered nurse, she brings a wealth of knowledge and expertise as a sought after health coach, speaker, mind, heart, and body teacher. Linda's depth in knowledge in holistic health and foundational biblical principles and insights allows her to offer a comprehensive understanding of the mind heart body connection to promote life giving health. Now, Linda has also written Strong, Sane, and Sassy as a transformative health guide that helps you experience real health, leading to vibrant energy, mental clarity, and emotional/spiritual well being. This book is for women and men alike who want to live in full health for themselves and their family generation after generation. Wow, Linda, so much to unpack. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Thank you, Linda. Okay, I'd like to take my listeners and the guests themselves a trip down memory lane first. Can you share with
Okay.
us what was it like growing up as a Linda Lee?
Uh, Well, I would say some of my first memories are running through the back hills. I loved being outside in nature. I didn't know it at the time, but one of my favorite things was to run barefoot up and down the hills in my backyard. So that just makes me feel like I've always had a connection with the earth, which I believe is really important. God created the earth for us. And I think the more time we spend outside, the healthier we are. So I'm thankful for that memory. I had a brother and a sister who I absolutely adored, an older sister and a younger brother. And over time, my brother and sister both developed some very poor mental health. And it, of course, affected every part of their health and well being. So it was a difficult time for me to watch their lives without understanding what was going on within them or why it was even happening. My brother developed a drug addiction, but the hardest part was my sister in the beginning. She just started acting in different ways. And so um, she was my best friend. I went everywhere with her. We traveled, we just traveled life together. And up until she was about 17 and I was 14 and maybe even 16, but I just saw a lot of changes in her. So that began kind of a very traumatic place for me. My younger brother at that time, at the same time, not exactly at the same time, but within a year after her um, trouble started, he developed a drug addiction. So I was kind of in the middle of two siblings, kind of watching their lives completely unravel. And so that's a big part of my story. Of course, I wasn't able to really process it fully. It's been a lifetime of processing it and understanding, my own story and how it relates to the passion that I have to help people understand where true health originates and how to use their own incredible body and mind and spirit to create health. Our body has it all within us. So maybe that's more than what you asked for, but that's a little bit about my
Wow, well,
so
thank you
I
for
lost
being candid.
they both passed away. They both passed away. So
I am so sorry.
early on.
Well, okay. I'm very sorry that happened to you. I just want to share with you since you opened with this story. I had my own spiritual journey. I think after my divorce and my after I left my toxic environment, my job, and that's when I started going in as to the importance of mind health and body connection, especially spirituality. And that's also was the impetus of the podcast because I always had this narrative in my head: you're worthless, you're worth to nothing if you are, you're not lovable because the person that you actually devoted yourself to decided to go their own way, and then yeah, and you respect yourself enough to not stay in the relationship, but after the separation you still have to grieve for that loss. And just today itself, it's like no matter how, excuse me, I experienced it back in 2019. So it's been 5 years now. And I often think that the universe or God, they give like, okay, you think that you're done with the healing, so you're superior than and then everybody else around you, right? Until um he gives you that similar experience again, and he wants to see how you react in that situation. And I think that's the real test to me. And I every time I'm, for example, like with, I know we're going off tangent, but we're gonna come back. You're meeting like a new person, for example, in my case, right? Because that was my impetus of the whole thing. And it's like if you're not fully healed, the triggers can start coming up to the surface again. But then you have the option or the choice to react differently. So and I have it's not an easy journey. I can tell you, Lynda, because you tend to again go back to your old pattern, but then you're more aware now the old Nicolette is acting this way again, which you shouldn't. You said you've healed. So what's the better way to react or handle the situation? So yeah, I just thought of sharing that because I think it's not really similar, but it's relatable in the sense.
Well, I can relate to that. And that's exactly what my book is about, is learning how to create those new pathways for yourself, yet also showing yourself a lot of curiosity and compassion as you fall back not fall, but as you revert back into old habits of protecting yourself and of not living in truth. No, it's really it's really like you're not really living in truth. You're living in a way that is you're trying to cope. And so
Yeah.
that's not a healthy way of living. And so we have to understand that we're going to have times where we wander off the true path, and we have to help ourselves get back on that true path of true health and living an authentically who we are.
And I love that. And you've been doing this for like, I think for more than, I don't know how many decades already. And you're still processing it right now. And it's, for me, it's just been half a decade. And I'm like, oh, how again, like you said, and also the realization that I just had just today, actually, before the interview. I'm like, you know what, Nicolette, you don't have, nobody has the power to hurt you. Only you have the power within yourself. And because it's the trauma when you put yourself back in the position, you're so fearful of what the other person might do to you because of your past experiences, even though you've uncovered, you've gone through the root cause, you've broken every self-limiting beliefs there is. But yeah, it's like, how much can my heart take, right? But yeah, I guess living and opening up, living purposefully, gets you up in the morning, and is having compassion for yourself. I think that's the most important thing as well.
I do too. And I also think we can honor and respect who we are and even our story. Those are parts of us that we don't have to act like it never happened, or, we can bring that into our lives and use it. And, God uses that parts of our story to help us become better people. So I wouldn't be the person I am if I hadn't have gone through that. And so I grieve the losses and the pain and the hurt season after season, but I also rejoice and I have gratitude for what I'm able to, take away from it and how I'm able to use it. And it's just such a huge passion. I have so much joy in helping others, create really good health from the inside out.
Love it. Thank you, Lynda, for being so open and candid about your story. Okay, now let's go to your book. Who is Strong, Sane, and Sassy speaking to? Tell me about them. Tell the listeners about them.
Strong, Sane, and Sassy is speaking to, I'm going to start with this one first. A 35-year-old, maybe a little
That's
younger, maybe
me.
a little
That's
older. Okay. Okay, there you go. Woman who is ambitious and has great goals. And she's reached a point where she's realizing that she needs to spend more time really taking some inventory of herself, of her true self. She's realizing she's probably suppressed some of her own body's signals. She doesn't have a beautiful relationship with her own body as she's designed to. And so she's starting to recognize some of these things within herself. And so she's some anxiety. She's carrying some anxieties and maybe some weight gain, just things that she isn't comfortable with about herself. And she's not sure what to do besides just press on, work harder, and make her body work harder and do better. But she's ready. She's ready for a change. She just hasn't faced it yet.
Hi, I'm Nierras, your host of the Your Worthless podcast. Now, if these real raw stories hit home, don't wait. Please follow, like, and subscribe on Spotify and YouTube. For bite-sized inspirational reels, follow me on Instagram, TikTok, and LinkedIn. Don't wait. Your transformation starts today. Thank you, and bye for now. Who sounds like me back in 2020. What are the telltale signs of the body saying enough is enough? You need to, hey, put your focus on me again. Enough with the go hard or go harder for your goals. I mean, I've always been an overachiever since I was a kid. So that's why part of it, like when things don't work out in my love department, it made me question my sense of self, a sense of worth. So if I knew this, I had this mantra growing up, if I put my mind into it, I could attain it. So little did I know it's not like that. Especially when you have no control over other people's emotion, both in my career, back in my career, and also in relationship at the time. So yeah, I've spent a lot of time and few years to unravel that. And now you're here. Since you've also have experiences, I'm sure, with your clients or the people that you work with before, what are the telltale signs?
That's a great question.
Mm-hmm.
And first of all, the first sign is normally is there this person, this precious woman is just not paying attention to her own soul. She's dismissing it. So it's starting to trying to rise up. She's feeling some anxiety, but she doesn't know where the anxiety is coming from. She's starting to get some headaches, maybe backaches, maybe it could even be she's experiencing fatigue, and she just has a sense that something isn't right. And so and if it's overlooked, as many women do, as she moves into her 40s, often it becomes autoimmune disease and thyroid problems and chronic fatigue, fibromyalgia, and the list goes on. It affects her. It just affects her. It affects her relationships, and those are the kinds of ways that the body is trying to express the lack of attention and the lack of nourishment that it's really aching for. But instead, we're pushing harder. We're working harder. So it's usually nothing starts to change until something does happen, or whether it's just life just will break down a little bit in some way, whether it's the body, whether it's relationships, something gets her attention.
Wow. Yeah. Again, it's so relatable because for me, it was like my head was like already it was throbbing at that point. And then I had to take a sabbatical for 2 months just to reorient myself. And then that was like the start of me saying, okay, taking inventory within myself and what's happening around me. And I love when you said the mind, body, and soul. So I want to touch on the spirituality part, the soul part, right, Lynda? How did that come about into the integration of this mind, health, and body, holistic
Yes.
well-being?
Well, the soul is the essence of who we are. And honestly, that's the soul. And we really can't separate our mind and our body and our spirit. And that's what we do. We try to dissociate, especially as women, from our own body, treating it however we want to treat it, instead of understanding it's us. Our body is a very dear, dear, dear part of us, that we love and honor. When it comes to the soul, it's every part of us. It's the essence of who we are. I mean, our soul is really who we are. And when we ignore our body, when we ignore our emotions, when we have mental exhaustion and chaos, our soul can't be in a good place. And so we have to work at integrating all parts of ourselves and realizing that each part of ourself is equally important. So if it requires time. So the way that we get more connected, mind, body, spirit, soul, is to spend some concentrated time taking off the layers and getting to what's really going on inside, getting honest with ourselves. And we can do that in physical ways too. Yoga has been a huge practice for me it's a lifestyle for me. I incorporate my faith and I incorporate what my body is telling me, honoring my body, what's coming up, what my body is releasing while I'm practicing yoga. So it's not like we're just sitting, which we can do that. There is a place of quietness and stillness. But when we incorporate movement, especially yoga and some deep breathing and some reflection, that's very important, and examination, and then get to know our own will. What are our choices and why are we making those choices regarding our own health, regarding how we're dealing with conflict, or all of those things. Then we can get to a true place within us. And then what I believe is that we can't really be living spiritually. We can't be thriving spiritually if we're not living in truth, at least to the best of our abilities. Truth being, what are your core beliefs? What are your core values? And how does your thoughts and your interactions and your lifestyle, the way you're treating yourself, how is that all aligning together? Or is it?
When you said that, something just popped into my mind. Like, I think my issue, like I like to uncover every guest that I have on. It's like a mini therapy, mini coaching session for me, right? So whenever that person is saying something, that's like this the one thing that's popped into my head. And for you particularly, it's like I think I've always assumed that my work comes, first, then my body and my soul, right? So if I don't get it right, like everything is not this is not worthy, it's not right, it's not enough. But in fact, it's work or people around you should be secondary to your needs, because you have to fill your own cup first before you can perform, before you can thrive in your business or in your work, or before you can show up as a partner, as a mother, as a sister in your family setting, and as a contributor in the community that you're in, if you're trying to build one. So, wow, what a profound realization for me today.
You just said it. That's it. That is the truth. And we try to squeeze out of taking care of ourselves, thinking, no, I gotta get this done, or I gotta take care of my children, or I gotta meet this need over here. No, that's not the truth. That's not true. We need to take care of ourselves. No one's going to take care of us but us. And that happens first. Because we don't, like you said, we don't have anything to truly give if we haven't fully given to what our own needs are asking, what our own body, mind, and soul is asking and needing from us first.
This conversation is like a warm hug for me. Thank you, Lynda.
Awesome.
Okay, all right. The subtitle of your book is Exposing the Truth About Real Health. What is that truth?
I would say two things. First, that we are integrated. We cannot, and I've already said this, but we're not fragmented people. We don't have a spiritual health and a mental health and a physical health. We do, but we can't separate them. They're all integrated. And so we have to understand that our body is a reflection of our mental health, our emotional health, and all of that, our spiritual health. They're all combined. And so one is a reflection of the other. So we're integrated people, we're whole people, and we can't separate ourselves. And then our lifestyle habits, the things that we actually do day after day, how we think, how we the nutrients we put in our body or we don't, how we interact with other people, our relationships, how we move our body, how we interact with the world. I have eight habits that are highly, highly empowering. And so that becomes our true health, is what are we doing day after day that impacts our well-being, from the quality of our thoughts to the quality of our diet is going to be the quality of our health.
Becoming a podcast host was a natural extension of my second act. Now, after spending 15 years in the corporate world, I've transitioned to helping individuals overcome challenges like navigating tough relationships, career burnout, and aligning their mission with their soul's calling. By certifying as an RTT hypnotherapist and a lifestyle coach, I've made it my mission to empower people to recreate the life they deserve and building a supportive community through my podcast. Now, let me ask, are you facing challenges like struggling to reprogram your mind to attract wealth, weight issues that feel like a constant yo-yo, insomnia or restless nights from daily worries, or just a lack of confidence in public speaking? By certifying as an RTT hypnotherapist and a lifestyle coach, I've made it my mission to empower people to recreate the life they deserve and building a supportive community through my podcast. Are you feeling shy? Don't be, because I'm as real as it gets. Let's connect on Instagram and LinkedIn and start your transformation today. Is that the strength acronym?
Yes.
Okay. 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 So this is extensively researched, science-backed, and proven lifestyle habits, all encapsulated in this acronistic strength. So can you tell what strength stands for and explain each of these lifestyle habits?
Yes. So I came up with the acrostic strength to help people remember, to actually, as you're going throughout your day, your weeks, your months, really thinking about how am I doing in each one of these areas, how I'm incorporating into my day-to-day, moment-to-moment life. So the strength, the S in strength, the first one, and I believe it's the foundational one, learning how to really sense your own body's signals and search your soul. You need to know what your body is indicating to you. You need to develop a good relationship with your body. Your body tells you when you're stressed, when you're in fight or flight, and it will give you signals. You need to understand when your body is reacting to a food that isn't working well for you, or responding to fatigue, maybe from something you did or didn't do, or didn't sleep well. So our body is highly intelligent. It is our best way to understand what we truly need and how to listen. And then in my book, I show you how to help yourself support your body well. And then so the whole that strength, the S in strength is all about learning how to really understand your body's signals and how to search your own soul so that you understand what's going on inside of you and how to respond to it. And then the T is training your thoughts. Our thoughts, our mindset has the biggest impact on our health. What we tell ourselves is huge. And I find that most people, can you hear me okay?
There's a bit of a background noise at the back.
I'm trying to figure out what that's from. Do I need to do anything on my end?
Okay, it seems like it's not there anymore.
Okay. You want me to just keep going?
Yeah.
Okay. So the T is training your thoughts. And honestly, I don't think people understand, like, just like we choose what we're going to eat, we need to choose what we're going to think regularly. And so we really want to have a very nutritious mental diet. We need to be very particular about what we listen to, what we hear, what we see, and what we engage in our own personal narrative, in our own mind. And when we begin to establish a healthy mindset and capture our own thoughts and set healthy thought patterns for ourselves and you can actually change everything about yourself when you develop healthy thought patterns. And so I lay out how to do that in the T for train your thoughts. And then the R is rest, restore, and rejuvenate. I think a lot of women, I can tell you were like that. Rest it doesn't feel
Unproductive. Yeah.
It feels unproductive. It feels, oh, I'm not doing anything. So it kind of triggers that sense of worth. Like if I'm just sitting around, I'm not. And that's not what rest is. It's not sitting around. But we do need to rest our body physically and rest our soul. And we do need to understand what do we need to restore ourselves. That's so important. And what rejuvenates us. Everyone's different. So I give lots of ideas. Play and adventure could be very restful for some people, and others it could just be, just having a rest outside in a chair. So you really have to know how to rest. And I talk about rhythms of rest in your day, in your week, in your month, and in your year. And studies show over and over again that people are most productive and creative when they take time to rest and rejuvenate. So, and then the E is exercise and movement. A lot of times people think I need an exercise program. And the truth is, this is the truth about health. We just need to move our bodies. We're sitting too much. And there's all kinds of ways we can move. We need to be moving a lot throughout our day. Movement should be enjoyable, but it needs to be a habit. It needs to be something we incorporate into our day on a regular basis. It's just amazing what movement does for our mental health and, of course, our other aspects of our health. And then we get into nutrition and hydration. And of course, we know how important that is. That's a big topic right now in our country, is realizing all of the processed foods that we eat. It just, it causes a lot of problems when we're not eating whole foods. And so food should be something that we thoroughly enjoy, but at the same time, we need to be very guarded with what we're actually ingesting, because when we put things into our body it's not designed to have, creates so much chaos and, just lowers our dopamine, our serotonin, all of our good brain chemicals. So, again, we're just so interconnected. And then after the N is G, goal set with grace. So we need to set goals. We need to know where we're going and where we're headed. But we need to do that with grace, just because it gives us a roadmap and it gives us a sense of moving forward in purpose and in our health and in our wellness and our own particular desires and needs. We need to set those goals for ourselves. I do go through a period in the beginning of how to set your own vision board for your health and for your life, to create a vision and what that means, because we can use our mind to really create a vision. And when we do that, it's the most powerful way, because we're engaging all parts of our senses to create that vision. And from there, setting some goals. So, and then the T is thriving in community. I do use the SMART goal, explain what that is and how to do that. We need to measure our goals. And then the T is thriving in community. Loneliness is probably the biggest epidemic that we have now, and it hurts our health more than anything else. We need face-to-face community, especially as women. Hugely important. We will not be thriving in health without it. So I explain all of that and give ideas and all kinds of ways that we can build community. And then the last one is hone your healthy habits. We need to make our lifestyle habits. It takes time to develop good habits. And so I lay out how to do that. I use a book by James Clear called Atomic Habits, and explaining, I use some of his principles about how to really develop, how to make your habit forming easy. Because to have good health, we do need to have good habits. It's action steps that we have to take daily to get truly healthy and to do that inward transformation from the inside out. So that's the strength acrostic.
Wow. All the word that you just mentioned, STRENG, with the HTS, they're all, it's not rocket science, but we overlook it, right? We overlook them. And it's so important for you to be bringing it up front, to the forefront, especially for women. And nowadays, and I think today itself, it's ever so important that holistic health, if you want to thrive, you gotta be focusing on this: mind, health, and body,
Exactly.
and soul. And I think I read an article yesterday. More and more Gen Zers, the younger ones, they're opting for non-alcoholic beverage. But it's a good thing. It's a good thing. But the recreational drugs that's been it's amped up. And of course, we know now there's medicinal purposes for it, right? And it unlocks certain realms. It connects with your soul. I don't know, what is your take on that, but yeah, it's a nice transition that we are balancing the scale right now. But we also see a lot of cases on drug abuse and whatnot. So yeah, it's okay. We're getting there one step at a time. That's why conversations like this need to happen. Okay, Lynda, you mentioned that many women are living unaware and disconnected from significant parts of themselves, and unknowingly they don't feel safe in their own bodies. Can you break down what this means and explain how it impacts a woman's health and well-being?
Yes, it's like they're living in their own body, but they're living in a very poor relationship with their own body. And so they're a big part of who they are is the body that they live in. And instead of having a harmonious, beautiful relationship with their body, they're experiencing shame and just a poor sense of, because their body isn't what they want it to be, or because they're treating it like it's a thing instead of part of themselves. They're just losing all sense of a big part of who they are, and they're mistreating their very own, their very own personage.
Vessel.
Yes, their very own vessel. Yes. And so, you know, it's really hurting them. But that can change. And that's what my book is about. And that's what I did. The exact opposite. You can have a beautiful, harmonious, loving relationship with your own, your body, mind, and soul. Love your body and what it does for you when you begin to pay attention to it and understand it and work with your body and for your body.
I love it. Okay. What are you working on currently, Lynda?
One of the things that I'm really, I would say two things. The first one is I am working on just really trying to create an awareness of how far we have come from living in the body that the way we are designed to. So I would say two areas would be learning we're not moving enough at all. Our body is amazingly capable of so many things if we just use it, if we move it and stretch it and jump and do all the things our body was designed to do and run. So I'm working on trying to create a greater awareness of that, as well as an awareness of being out in nature. Because we were designed to connect, with nature, to eat the food from the earth, to connect, to be out in the sunlight and the elements of nature. I'm working on trying to really create awareness of that. I'm also just trying to get, I would say that even just the Christian community to understand, because God designed us that we want to honor him in this vessel. And it's so important to return, return to the way we were designed and to experience the fullness that we were designed to have. And then the other thing that I'm doing is I love health coaching and consulting, and I have a health and wellness practice. So I love working with women. I love helping them get on a track. A lot of them think it's too late. They're too, they're either too complicated or too messy or too old or too young. But every single woman is important to getting her relationship with her own body thriving and well and living in the true health that she was designed to live in, and really experiencing who she is and using her gifts. We can't use our gifts and experience, the purpose that God designed us for if we're not healthy. So that's one of my main commitments. I love my health and wellness practice. So I do love my clients and working with them and helping them on that, develop that roadmap and get on that journey to a vibrant health.
I love it. I love the work that you're doing, Lynda. You're incredible.
Thank you.
Okay, it's just I just had this question again when you were saying that, like, how early should women start listening to their bodies? I know it's a kind of a rhetoric question, but yeah,
No,
how early should?
I think that's a great question, and I think it really begins early on in life. And I think that women have been trained to, we just developed this narrative that isn't true from our culture. And we need to teach young children, young girls, in little ways and just modeling to them. It's never too early to learn how to listen to your own body and to respect and enjoy every part of your biology, of, what your body can do for you, understanding all the systems in your body. We don't need to have some kind of, deep knowledge, but just understanding the beauty of your lungs and your musculoskeletal system and, your hormones in your brain and just all different parts of your body and how well they work and how we can support them. I think that can start very early. But if you're into your 30s, you're going to really need to start to really know your own body, especially as you're going through all of the different hormonal changes. It's really important to understand your own body because they're coming, and you don't want to feel like there's a foreigner in your own body because it isn't. It's you, it's your body. So the time is now for every single woman to start really understanding her body's signals.
Thank you for that, Lynda. Okay, so Lynda, we're going to pivot to a self-worth question. And the question for you is, can you share any personal experiences or stories of self-discovery and how it positively impacted your sense of self-worth?
Yeah, I mean, my biggest one is my siblings' health deterioration. I really just took a step I took the place of, well, I'm okay, I'm healthy, so life is going to be all about them. And so I really lost a sense of who I was. And so that's been a journey for me to. And when you lose a sense of who you are, your worth your worth suffers. Now, I have a huge sense of who I am in my relationship with God because I spent so much time grieving my siblings, and I found the beauty of having a personal relationship with God. And that gave me such a sense of, I felt strong and sturdy, but it was a process. I think that it's always for women, especially for me, I would say particularly for me, it's understanding that it's not what I do or what I say or how I look. That's always going to be something I have to work on and be aware of, that my worth does not come in anything but who I am. And again, that I'm, deeply known, fully known and deeply loved by God. He created me. And so that's where my worth comes from. But it's easy, to get off into finding my worth in something that I'm doing or, pleasing other people. And I think that, whenever you feel, for me, whenever I sense that someone doesn't like me and might want to cut me off or abandon me, I'm very triggered. And, that's just something I'm aware of.
Lynda, sending you virtual hugs.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, what is your heart's greatest wish?
Oh, that's a good question. I would say that I think for the light to come through for those that I love, those that are around me, the truth, to live in truth and to live in the light. I put truth and light together. And I think it goes back to what I believe, that you're fully known, you're deeply loved just as you are. And I want to be a messenger of that. I want to impact. My greatest wish is to impact as many people as I can with that truth. And that as a result of that, they will honor themselves and take care of themselves and experience just the big vital, just such a life of vitality and fullness.
Beautiful. Okay, if you could create a quote right now for you to leave to the audience listening and the world as your legacy, what would it be?
Well, I honestly believe that when we live our life feeling or experiencing a sense of being fully known and deeply loved for who we are, and I believe the only people can do that, but not like God can. And so for me, I think it's important to know, for each and every person to know, that you are fully known and you are deeply loved. And you have to believe that, and you have to love yourself in that way. You have to know every part of who you are and fully love each and every part of who you are, because you were designed perfectly. And you're not going to live flawlessly, but that doesn't mean that you can't accept every part of who you are. And love each and every part of who you are. And love is an action. So that means you're gonna actively love each and every part of who you are.
Thank you. How can people reach out to you, Lynda?
Well, I would love to hear from people. I have a website, Lynda Hebert. You know how hard that is for people to know how to spell it. LYNDAHEBERT.com. Or Wild About Wellness. Wild About Wellness is easier. That's my website. So you can learn about me there. My email address is just my name, Lynda, Lynda, Hebert, Hebert, 1, the number 1, at gmail.com. And my book, Strong, Sane, and Sassy, I guess you were going to ask me this. It's a bestseller. It's an international and national bestseller. And it's on Amazon and in any all the other places you can get it. But there's a link to it from my website to Amazon. And I'm on Instagram at Lynda, Lynda _ Hebert, HEBERT _
I'll be sure to follow you after the interview
Awesome.
today. Well, and there you have it, everyone. You've just heard an inspiring journey, incredible wisdom from Lynda Lee Hebert. Thank you for sharing the work you're doing to uplift others and make a lasting impact. Despite the challenges, Lynda, you're paving the way for others, and your dedication is a true testament to resilience and purpose. For our listeners, this has been another thought-provoking episode of Your Worthless. Read that again, the juxtaposition of your very soul. If you've ever felt worthless, know this, you're not alone. But here's the deeper truth. If you were truly worthless, why would your soul choose to be here in this exact moment, in this lifetime? Your soul traveled from the infinite, not just to exist, but to matter. And for that reason alone, you are worthy. And with that, I'd like to thank Lynda Lee Hebert for joining us today, and to all of you for listening. Until next time, I'm Nierras, your host. Keep shining, keep growing, and remember, you are worthy and you are enough. See you in the next episode. Thank you so much, Lynda, for your time.
Thank you, Nicolette.